Have you ever felt, without knowing exactly why, that the life you're living isn't the only one meant for you? That somewhere, just beyond the veil of what you can see and touch, a different version of your life is waiting, more aligned, more abundant, more peaceful, more you. And yet, no matter what you try, it feels like you're trapped inside an endless loop. Same cycles, same outcomes, same quiet disappointment that creeps in when no one's watching. Maybe you've tried to change. You've said the affirmations, you've built the vision boards, you've whispered things like, I am wealthy, I am love, I am healed. But behind closed doors, nothing truly shifted. The bills kept piling up. The loneliness stayed. The anxiety came back, louder than your affirmations, and so you began to wonder, is something wrong with me? Has the universe forgotten me? Is this just how life is going to be? Let me say this clearly. The problem was never you. You're not broken. You're not cursed. You're not missing some secret formula that only works for a lucky few. What's been keeping you trapped isn't a lack of faith or effort. It's the frequency you've been unknowingly transmitting every moment through your thoughts, your emotions, your nervous system, your very presence. Because here is the truth that most never dare to say out loud. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. You might speak of wealth, but still vibrate lack. You might dream of love, but your heart stays guarded. You might crave transformation, but your energy continues feeding the very version of reality you're desperate to escape. And that's why nothing changes. But what if I told you there is another version of you? A version that already lives in peace, in joy, in absolute alignment. And this version of you is not buried in some distant future. It already exists, right now, vibrating in a different frequency, waiting for you to tune in. This isn't about thinking positively. This isn't about repeating mantras while nothing shifts. This is about becoming the signal that forces reality to reconfigure around you. It's not about asking the universe to change. It's about becoming so deeply aligned with the reality you desire that your old life simply can't hold you anymore. And here's where the journey begins. Because once you see what's really behind the curtain, once you understand the mechanics of frequency, energy, and embodiment, nothing stays the same. So stay with me. We're going to uncover the real reasons most people feel stuck, even after years of trying. We're going to unlearn the false teachings of trying harder and replace them with a new code of becoming. And most of all, we're going to activate the version of you that was never lost, only waiting. If this message awakened something deep inside you, write the number 99 in the comments. It's not just a number, it's a code. 99 symbolizes the end of an energetic cycle and the beginning of a new frequency. By commenting it, you're sending a clear signal to the universe. I'm ready to step into the reality that's been waiting for me. And if you want to continue evolving with us, in truth, in energy, in embodiment, subscribe now, so you don't miss the next step of your transformation. Let's be honest. The world is flooded with advice on manifestation. You're told to think positive, to visualize with clarity, to repeat your affirmations daily, to align with gratitude. And yet countless people who follow all the steps still wake up every morning inside the same reality, the same job they dread, the same relationship patterns that break their hearts, the same financial tension that never fully goes away. And worst of all, the same silent ache that whispers, why isn't it working for me? This is where most people give up. They either decide that manifestation doesn't work, or even more painfully, that they are the problem. That they're not spiritual enough, not disciplined enough, not chosen. But let me say this clearly. Manifestation does not fail. What fails is the understanding of how the quantum truly responds. You've been taught that if you want something deeply enough, the universe will deliver it. That intensity equals creation. That desire is the magic ingredient. But here's the shocking truth most don't know. Desire alone creates nothing. The quantum field does not respond to the loudness of your longing. It responds to the clarity of your vibration. And more specifically, it mirrors the frequency you broadcast from your deepest, most consistent state of being. Which means this: you can speak 1,000 affirmations with your mouth and still be radiating fear with your body. You can visualize luxury, love, freedom, and still be anchored in survival, scarcity, and doubt. Why? Because your subconscious is always transmitting, even when your conscious mind is declaring something else. And the quantum doesn't choose the louder voice. It chooses the stronger signal. Let this settle in. You may think you're manifesting from your mind, but in reality, you're manifesting from your nervous system, from your emotions, from your anticipation, from the unspoken truth of what you actually believe is possible. That's why someone can affirm, "I am abundant," but the moment a bill arrives, their stomach knots with anxiety. The affirmation was loud, but the signal was contradiction. That's why someone can say, "I am ready for love," but when intimacy knocks, they retreat, protect, close down. The desire was strong, but the signal was separation. And here's where most people become stuck. They keep adjusting the outer techniques, new vision boards, new rituals, new mantras, while the core frequency remains unchanged. They are desiring a new life while still embodying the old self. And the field doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to identity. You cannot want your way into a different reality. You must become the version of you who already lives inside it. Not eventually, not when the evidence shows up, but now. Because, and this is where quantum truth becomes sacred, your desired life already exists. It's not waiting to be created. It's waiting to be matched. Let's pause here. This changes everything, doesn't it? If the quantum doesn't give you what you want, but instead gives you what you are, then the real question is no longer, what do I desire? The real question is, who am I being right now? That's where the power is. That's the turning point. And once you grasp this, you'll never look at manifestation the same way again. By now, you understand that the quantum field doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your signal. But where does that signal truly come from? Not your conscious mind, not your positive thoughts, not the words you repeat when you're feeling hopeful. Your signal comes from your body, from the sum total of your nervous system, your emotional, memory, your subconscious expectations, all of which are constantly communicating with the universe, with or without your permission. Let's make this clear. Your body is not just a vessel. It's a transmitter, a receiver, a living library of everything you've ever experienced, felt, feared, or repressed. And unless you intentionally change what your body is broadcasting, you will remain aligned to the frequency of your past, no matter how many times you say you want a new future. This explains so much, doesn't it? It explains why affirmations often feel flat, why visualizations fade quickly, why you might understand something mentally but still feel powerless to live it. Because the block isn't in your intellect, it's in your biology. Your nervous system was designed to protect you, to memorize patterns of danger and safety. So if love once meant betrayal, if risk once meant rejection, if success once led to loss, then even as you reach for those things now, your body remembers. And it pulls back, quietly, subtly, automatically. This is what neuroscientists refer to as neural grooves, deeply embedded pathways in the brain that form through repetition. Every time you respond in fear, overthink a situation, or shut down emotionally, that pathway deepens. And soon, you're no longer choosing your reactions, they're choosing you. Imagine a record stuck on the same few notes. That's your frequency. When your body is locked in survival mode, you may change your surroundings, your relationships, your goals, but the melody playing underneath remains the same. And so, heartbreak repeats, scarcity returns. Anxiety lingers. But here's what changes everything. Your nervous system is also the gateway to your transformation. This isn't poetic, it's measurable science. When you begin to calm those survival patterns, when you regulate your breathing, your emotions, your reactions, you create new pathways, new grooves, new frequencies, and the quantum field listens. Research shows that when people enter states of coherence through breathwork, meditation, or heart-based practices, their electromagnetic field expands. Their heart and brain waves synchronize, their biology shifts from fear to harmony, and the field begins to respond immediately. Here's something even more profound. Your heart has its own brain. Over 40,000 neurons that communicate with your nervous system, your emotions, and the world around you. The electromagnetic field of your heart is 5,000 times more powerful than that of your brain. Which means when your heart is incoherent, when it's closed, anxious, disconnected, it sends a jarring, fragmented signal to the field. But when your heart is open, grateful, connected, it sends a pure frequency, a frequency that rearranges reality. Now stop and ask yourself, when was the last time your body felt truly safe to receive? When was the last time your heart trusted enough to stay open? Because this, more than any affirmation, visualization, or strategy, is what determines the version of reality you collapse from the quantum field. And if your current body, your current patterns, your current rhythm are still wired to survive the old reality, then it's no wonder that new timelines feel just out of reach. But here's the beauty. You don't need to fight it. You just need to retune the instrument. Your breath, your posture, your tone, your intention, all of it is part of the frequency you emit. And the moment you choose, even slightly, to shift those elements into coherence, you become magnetically aligned with a new version of life. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. You've been taught to believe that you must build your future, that you must create a new life from effort, discipline, intention. That manifestation is a form of construction, brick by brick, thought by thought, year after year. But what if I told you that everything you've ever wanted already exists? Every version of your life, every possibility, every healed, abundant, joyful expression of your being, they are not waiting to be invented. They are waiting to be tuned into. Let's go deeper. Quantum physics has revealed something astonishing, that every potential outcome, every future version of you, already exists simultaneously within the field of energy and information. Nothing is created from scratch. It is selected. And how do you select? Through vibration. Your frequency, not your wishes, not your intellect, is what tunes you into one possibility over another. Imagine the quantum field as an infinite radio dial. Each reality is a station already broadcasting. If you're not hearing the music you want, the problem isn't the signal, it's the station you're tuned into. This is why spiritual masters, ancient civilizations, and even great scientific minds like Nikola Tesla all emphasized one truth. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This wasn't philosophy. It was physics. It was a revelation. Tesla wasn't speaking metaphorically. He understood, as many do now, that the structure of reality is vibrational. That frequency isn't decoration, it's creation. Think about it. Why do sacred numbers like 3, 6, and 9 show up across civilizations? Why did the Egyptians build pyramids using mathematical harmonics? Why do indigenous traditions use drums, chants, and geometric symbols to induce altered states of consciousness? Because they weren't praying to the sky. They were tuning their being. They were aligning their internal frequency with the patterns of the universe itself. This is also why sacred geometry, sound frequencies, and universal codes feel so familiar. Because your soul recognizes what your mind forgot. You are not separate from the field. You are the field, folded into human form. So when we speak of creating a new life, what we really mean is remembering which version of you you're ready to embody, and then aligning so completely, so consistently with that frequency that the quantum field has no choice but to reflect it back. This is the difference between pretending and becoming, between wishing and matching. You're not here to wrestle your way into a better life. You're here to resonate so powerfully with it that it cannot help but meet you. So let me ask you this. What if, right now, your dream life isn't out of reach, but out of tune? What if everything you've asked for has already answered you, but your current signal is still broadcasting fear, lack, separation? If that's true, and it is, then the answer is not to try harder. It's to tune higher, to stabilize the frequency, to become the version of you who already lives there. And how do you do that? That's exactly where we're going next. If this truth is resonating with something deep inside you, don't let it fade. Subscribe now to stay connected with this frequency, because we're just beginning to unlock the next level of your becoming. So far, you've awakened to a powerful realization that your desired reality already exists. That manifestation isn't about creating from scratch, but tuning into what's already there, that your frequency is the key. But now we must confront something more elusive, more cunning, more deeply embedded than we often care to admit. Resistance. Not the loud, obvious kind. Not the kind that screams, "I can't do this," or "this isn't real." No, the kind that whispers with reason, that wears the mask of logic, that uses your own intelligence to keep you exactly where you are. Resistance rarely looks like fear. It looks like delay, like overthinking, like perfectionism, like the voice that says, "Let's wait until it feels safer. Let's gather more evidence first. Let's be practical." But here's the truth. Resistance is just fear wearing a suit, and the reason it's so powerful is because it lives not in your mind, but in your body. Stored in your nervous system, encoded through past pain, ancestral memory, emotional wounds that were never fully acknowledged. This is why you can read every book, take every course, practice every method, and still repeat the same patterns. Because transformation is not an intellectual process. It's a biological release. Let's go even deeper. Your nervous system is designed to keep you safe, and it doesn't care whether safe means joyful or miserable. It only cares whether it's familiar, and this is where most people unknowingly betray their evolution. They say they want expansion, but their system still believes that survival depends on contraction. They say they're ready to love, but their body still remembers betrayal. They say they want prosperity, but their cells still tremble at the memory of lack. They say they want to be seen, but their emotional imprint still associates visibility with danger. So no matter how many affirmations you recite, your frequency collapses back into the old identity. Not because you're weak, but because your system is convinced. Staying where I am is safer than moving toward the unknown. And that belief becomes your prison, invisible, logical, almost comforting. Here's the paradox. The part of you that's suffering from your current reality is not the part creating it. It's the part of you that's surviving it, the outdated identity that was built to endure the past. And until that part is acknowledged, felt, and released, you will continue to manifest from it over and over again. So what's the answer? You must renegotiate the contract between your nervous system and your future. You must teach your body, through breath, through presence, through practice, that it's safe to change, safe to expand, safe to receive, safe to let go. And this doesn't happen in one moment. It happens in micro moments. Moments where you catch the old pattern and choose differently. Moments where you soften instead of brace. Open instead of retreat. Speak instead of silence. Trust instead of control. Each time you do this, you shift your frequency. And each time you shift your frequency, you step closer to the timeline that's already been waiting for you. This is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming available, because the quantum doesn't need a flawless version of you. It needs a present version of you, one who is no longer hiding from their own truth. So now I ask you gently, where are you still negotiating with fear? Where are you still preparing for pain while praying for change? When you identify that, you don't shame it, you meet it, you feel it, and then you set it free. Let's return to a truth we've already touched. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. But here's something deeper. It's not enough to become that version of you once. You must become them repeatedly, consistently, until the old version of you has no place to return to. Because the quantum doesn't respond to occasional clarity, it reshapes itself around sustained coherence. And that's the key most people miss. They believe embodiment is a moment, a decision, a spark, but in truth, embodiment is a rhythm, a vibration you live in, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Let's bring this down to earth. If you're stepping into a reality of prosperity, it's not about waiting until you have money to feel abundant. It's about breathing through scarcity when it knocks. It's about blessing your bills instead of fearing them. It's about walking into the grocery store as if the universe is already providing for you, because energetically, it is. If you're calling in love, it's not about waiting for someone to show up and prove you're lovable. It's about keeping your heart open when the fear says, shut down. It's about speaking truth even when your voice shakes. It's about replacing silence with softness and protection with presence. If you're reclaiming your health, it's not about punishing your body into healing. It's about honoring it, listening to it, feeding it, moving it, resting it as if it is already whole. Because wholeness isn't just a destination. It's a vibration your cells remember when you allow them to. This is embodiment. But, more importantly, this is sustained embodiment, and it only happens through what we now call micro-alignment. Most people think they need massive changes to shift timelines. That transformation has to be loud and dramatic. But the field doesn't respond to drama. It responds to resonance. And resonance is built through small, intentional acts, repeated with clarity. A deep breath instead of panic. A word of kindness instead of silence. A posture of openness instead of defense. These are the quantum codes. This is how the universe listens. Want to amplify this? Then don't just think about the future. Create future memories. Your brain doesn't distinguish between reality and vividly imagined experience. So when you consistently visualize your desired life with full sensory detail, smell, sound, light, texture, emotion, your brain begins to encode that reality as memory. And when you add emotion to it, gratitude, joy, peace, you signal to the field. This is not a wish. This is my now. This is where practice becomes magic. And to make this even more powerful, breathe with rhythm. Inhale for 5 seconds. Exhale for 5 seconds. This is coherent breathing, and it entrains your heart and brain into harmony, a state where your electromagnetic field expands and your signal sharpens like a laser. But the real art is not in doing this once. It's in returning. You will fall. You will forget. You will respond from the old you. That's okay. That's human. The power is in noticing it. And returning to the breath, returning to the vision, returning to the rhythm. Returning to the truth of who you are becoming, again and again and again. Because the version of you that already lives in your highest timeline, they didn't arrive by chance. They arrived by choosing and re-choosing their alignment. So, now, ask yourself, what would change today if I moved through this moment as that version of me? What would I say differently? What would I no longer tolerate? What softness would I allow? Because those choices, repeated in private, are the ones that collapse timelines in public. By now, you understand that your frequency shapes your reality. But here's a truth that's rarely addressed, and yet it may be the missing piece in your transformation. You don't vibrate alone. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every vision you hold, is happening inside a field of entanglement, an energetic web that includes the people you speak with, the environments you live in, the content you consume, the spaces you frequent. In quantum mechanics, there's a phenomenon called entanglement, two particles that interact and become linked so deeply that changing one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. And here's the mind-altering part. This principle doesn't just apply to subatomic particles. It applies to consciousness, which means the people you spend time with, the voices you listen to, the environments you inhabit, they entangle with your frequency. Let that sink in. You could be doing the inner work, breathing, visualizing, embodying your new self. But if you're consistently surrounded by voices rooted in fear, scarcity, complaint, or shame, those vibrations begin to entangle with yours. Not because you're weak, but because energy is contagious. This is why certain rooms drain you, even when nothing is said. Why some conversations leave you feeling heavy, even if they seem normal. Why returning to familiar environments often pulls you back into familiar emotions, even if you've grown beyond them. It's not psychological, it's energetic. And here's the quiet tragedy. Many people sabotage their own transformation simply by refusing to honor this truth. They awaken, they align, but they stay entangled with the past through people, media, habits, even music or memes, and then wonder why their old frequency keeps reappearing. Listen closely. This isn't about judging others. It's about understanding resonance. Can love people deeply and still recognize that their current frequency is not aligned with your next evolution. You can care for someone's pain without allowing their vibration to collapse your progress, because your frequency, especially in its early stages of transformation, is tender. It's like a newly tuned instrument, and you must protect its harmony until it becomes stable. This is why so many who shift their reality describe a period of withdrawal, of silence, of solitude, not because they're avoiding the world, but because they're retuning themselves for the world they are stepping into. This is not isolation, this is preparation. And yes, it may be uncomfortable. You may lose connections, you may feel misunderstood, but remember, you're not losing anything. You're releasing what was built for a version of you that no longer exists. Let your environment evolve with your frequency. Create sacred spaces, even if it's just a corner of your room. Choose content that feeds your future, not your fear. Surround yourself with symbols, sounds, and voices that mirror the reality you're stepping into, because eventually, your internal work will call forth a new external world, new people, new opportunities, new spaces that feel like breath instead of burden. And you'll know, not because you tried to force them, but because your frequency became the invitation. You've learned about vibration. You've embodied new versions of yourself. You've practiced micro-alignment, emotional coherence, and quantum awareness. But there is one final element, subtle, sacred, and astonishingly powerful, that seals your frequency and calls the new reality into form with grace. Gratitude, not as politeness, not as social ritual, not as positive thinking, but as a frequency, one that shifts timelines and activates quantum collapse. Let's be clear. Gratitude isn't a nice feeling. It's a signal. When your heart enters a genuine state of gratitude, your brainwaves harmonize. Your nervous system calms. Your electromagnetic field expands dramatically. And in that expanded state, you become a magnet for aligned reality. But not all gratitude is the same. There are 3 levels of gratitude, and only the third one has the power to bend time and space. Let's explore them. Gratitude for what you already have. This is the most common form. You're thankful for your health, your home, your loved ones, and this is beautiful. It anchors appreciation, presence, and connection. But, energetically, this form of gratitude maintains your current state. It's powerful, but it doesn't necessarily move you. Gratitude for what is beginning to shift here. You feel thankful for positive momentum, new opportunities, improved emotions, subtle signs of alignment. This begins to amplify the field. It tells the universe, I see it, and I'm ready for more. This creates movement. But the next level, the one that truly activates quantum manifestation, is where the magic lives. Gratitude for what has not yet arrived. As if it has, this is the frequency of total alignment. When you close your eyes and feel genuine appreciation for the wealth that hasn't appeared yet, the love that hasn't walked in the door yet, the healing, the opportunity, the expansion. When you feel thankful for those things as if they are already part of your now, you collapse the illusion of time. This is not fantasy, it's retrocausality, a principle in quantum physics where future events influence the present. When your nervous system feels something as real, the field responds accordingly, because again, the quantum doesn't care about linear time. It reflects coherence. It mirrors what you embody now. So when you say, thank you for this, love, thank you for this abundance, thank you for this healing, and your whole being believes it, you are no longer wishing. You are no longer waiting. You are receiving. Let that settle. Because most people try to convince the universe. But in this state, there's nothing to convince. There's only certainty. And that certainty magnetizes reality. But how do you access this depth of gratitude? You soften. You slow down. You enter the heart. You visualize not just with images, but with sensation. You see it. You feel it. You breathe it. And then, with your hands on your heart, you whisper, thank you. I already have it. I am it. And in that moment, the field responds, not eventually, immediately. Because the version of you who has everything you desire doesn't wait to be grateful. They are grateful because they know it's done. That is your invitation now. Take a breath, let it settle, not just in your lungs, but in your field, in your being, in your memory, because something has shifted. You may not yet have words for it, but your body knows, your energy knows, your timeline has already begun to bend. You are no longer the same person who began this journey. You've remembered that your reality is not fixed and is fluid, that your future is not waiting, it is vibrating, that the version of you you've been searching for is not in the distance. It's within reach now. You've seen that manifestation is not a game of luck, nor a reward for those who suffer enough. It is not earned. It is not chased. It is matched. And only those brave enough to become the frequency, not just think it, but embody it, will collapse the waves into form. But here's what matters most. You don't have to strive to get there, because there is already within you. You've touched it in moments of stillness. You've glimpsed it in moments of alignment. You've remembered it in the quiet pulse beneath all your longing. This was never about becoming someone else. It was about returning to the version of you that the world tried to make you forget. So now, let go of the waiting. Let go of the trying. Let go of the illusion that your power lies outside of you. Because here now, in this exact moment, you hold the code. You carry the pattern. You are the signal the universe responds to. And the most extraordinary truth of all, the universe has never been testing you. It has always been mirroring you. It wasn't ignoring you. It was answering a frequency you didn't know you were broadcasting, but now you do. So what happens next? You live it. You breathe it. You return to coherence when chaos knocks. You speak from your future, not your fear. You thank what hasn't yet appeared as if it's already here, because it is. And as you do this, not perfectly but consistently, your old reality dissolves. Not in one dramatic flash, but moment by moment, choice by choice, breath by breath. Until one day you look around and realize you are living the life that once felt impossible. And not because the universe finally said yes, but because you finally said yes to yourself. So before we close, I offer you this final invitation. In the next 24 hours, do one thing, just one, that belongs to the version of you who already lives in your new timeline. Maybe it's a word you choose, a decision you make, a breath you deepen, a boundary you hold, or simply a moment of stillness where you say to the universe, "Thank you. I remember who I am now." That's all it takes. Because quantum reality doesn't shift when the world changes. It shifts when you do. If this journey has awakened something in you, stay close. Subscribe to continue evolving within a space where consciousness isn't a concept. It's a lived, daily experience. And in the comments, share a word that anchors you into your new reality. A single word. Something that says, "This is who I choose to be now." Whether it's freedom, abundance, open, trust, peace, sovereign, let it be a vow between your soul and the field. Because you matter. Your frequency matters. Your choice matters. Thank you for being here. Thank you for walking this path. Thank you for daring to remember who you truly are. This is not the end. It's the alignment you've been waiting for. Keep going, keep choosing, keep surprising yourself, because when you do, the quantum always responds.